Welcome back to Battle Tested Forgotten Veteran, the movement and platform where we give voice to those who have been battle tested and forgotten. Today's episode is titled PTSD Doesn't Care About Gender. This conversation is especially important because mental health struggles after service don't discriminate. PTSD affects veterans of every gender, branch, and background. Yet the experience of women veterans often goes unrecognized, misunderstood, or dismissed. If you're listening as a veteran, a family member, a caregiver, or just someone who wants to understand better, this episode is for you. Setting the stage, PTSD is gender blind. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, is an invisible wound. It shows no rank, no gender, no branch insignia. But unfortunately, society does make distinctions. When people think of PTSD, they tend to picture male combat veterans, often overlooking women who served just as bravely and often faced additional challenges because of their gender. Women veterans experience PTSD at rates that are equal to or higher than men, according to the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, but their symptoms often present differently, sometimes as anxiety, depression, or chronic pain, which means they are less likely to get a diagnosis or the care they need. And many women veterans experience military sexual trauma, MST, which is a leading cause of PTSD among women in service. These traumas don't always get the recognition they deserve, and the stigma around sexual trauma can make it even harder for women to seek help. Real stories from women veterans. I've spoken with women veterans who've served in every branch, and their stories echo one another. One Air Force veteran served for 18 years in an all-male division. She told me how every day was a battle, not just with the external enemies, but with the culture around her. She faced isolation, doubt, and was often told she was too emotional or overreacting when she sought mental health care. Another Army combat medic who served in Iraq and Afghanistan shared how, after returning home, she was mistaken for a spouse when she sought VA care, not the veteran she was. She faced multiple denials for disability related to PTSD and struggled to get treatment that recognized the trauma she endured. These experiences are far too common. The system, the culture, even our collective perceptions make it difficult for women veterans to be heard and supported. The stigma around PTSD and women veterans. The stigma surrounding PTSD is tough enough for any veteran, but for women it's compounded by gender stereotypes. Society often tells women they should be nurturing, emotionally strong, and resilient. But when they admit to PTSD symptoms, they're seen as weak or not cut out for military life. This stigma leads many to suffer in silence, avoiding treatment for fear of judgment or career consequences. Additionally, the VA system has historically been designed around male veterans. Though improvements have been made, many women still report feeling unwelcome or that their needs are secondary. Access to female-specific trauma-informed care and mental health providers is limited in many areas. This systemic issue needs urgent attention. What can society do? So what can we do as a society to change this? How can we support women veterans with PTSD, not just in words, but in meaningful action? 1. Normalize mental health conversations for all veterans. We need to talk openly about PTSD without gender bias. This means encouraging veterans of all genders to seek help and rejecting stigmatizing language like weak or dramatic. 2. Improve gender-specific care access. More funding and policy focus should be directed toward expanding trauma-informed care tailored to women veterans, including services addressing MST, reproductive health, and female-specific mental health challenges. 3. Include women veterans in policy and program design. Women veterans should have a seat at the table when mental health programs and veteran services are designed and evaluated. Their voices can help ensure services meet their unique needs. 4. Educate the public and veteran communities. Host community workshops, create public awareness campaigns, and leverage social media to educate others about the realities women veterans face. This reduces stigma and increases empathy. 5. Build safe peer support networks. Peer support groups exclusively for women veterans create safe spaces where they can share experiences without fear of judgment. Supporting or funding these groups is crucial. 6. Advocate for cultural change within the military and VA. Military leaders and VA administrators must be held accountable for fostering environments free of harassment and discrimination so women veterans don't face additional trauma from within the system. How you can help today. If you want to be part of this change, here are some simple steps you can take right now. Listen without judgment. If a woman veteran shares her story, believe her. Challenge myths when you hear them, like women don't experience combat stress or PTSD is a man's issue. Use your platform, social media, community groups, workplaces to share women veteran stories and raise awareness. Support veteran organizations focused on women's mental health through donations or volunteering. Reach out to women veterans in your life and let them know you see them and you care. Too often, women veterans carry invisible wounds, brushed aside, minimized, or misunderstood. Whether it's trauma from combat, military sexual assault, or the overwhelming pressure of serving while being expected to stay silent, the pain is real. In a system that hasn't always honored or heard us, the first step toward healing is reclaiming our voice. That's why today's affirmation is more than just words. It's a declaration of existence, truth, and worth. Read it slowly, say it out loud, let it sink into the places that have been ignored for too long. Affirmation of the day. I am seen, I am heard, my trauma is valid, my healing matters. I am seen. I am heard. My trauma is valid. My healing matters. Say it with me again. I am seen. I am heard. My trauma is valid. My healing matters. Let these words be a lifeline, a powerful reminder that you are not invisible and your pain is not imaginary. Whether you're a woman veteran, a survivor, or someone fighting a silent battle, this affirmation honors your journey. Healing begins the moment we are acknowledged. When our stories are met with empathy instead of silence, real recovery can begin. So hold these words close. Repeat them until they feel like truth. You matter and your healing is worth everything. Thank you for joining me on Battle Tested Forgotten Veteran. I'm Dagmarie Daniels reminding you PTSD doesn't care about gender, neither should our support or our respect. If this episode resonated with you, please share it, leave a review, and visit your website to learn more about how you can join this movement. Until next time, stay strong, stay seen, and stay heard.